Hello everyone and welcome back to UE5 BP Guru. We're not doing a tutorial today, we're kind of talking about something that's come up recently. You guys have been blowing up my DMs. It's been in nearly every single Discord group that I've been in regards to kind of gaming and monster taming and Pokemon and God knows what else. There's been a lot of chatter around it basically. And if you haven't guessed already, we're talking about Nintendo. They've been filing patents left, right, and center. They are basically been on a one-way trip to becoming the actual Team Rocket of our world. And I think they hit the final nail in the coffin. Shigeru has finally become Giovanni, and he's planning on taking everybody's creativity. Yeah, they're not after Pokemon, they're after other video games. They have patented something new, and it is insanely frustrating. We're going to go through that patent today and have a little deep dive to see if we can kind of clear a few things up, a few misconceptions, and maybe a few little workarounds to anyone who's making a similar Monster Tamer game. And yeah, you just a little bit of background. Palworld obviously stepped massively on their toes when they created their Pocket Pair created Palworld, and of course they just patented everything to try and kind of justify suing them. Weirdly, they patented everything after suing them, but here we go. What can you do, right? Apparently, the justice system will allow things like that. And they've allowed something new. Well, this is the US. So the US, this is their patent system. As you can see, US blah 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 B2. It is done by Shigeru himself. He's the bad boy that decided to put this through. And it is storage medium, information processing system, information processing apparatus, and game processing method. But a lot of that is basically just jargon, for they are taking away the final thing that will probably bury Palworld if they're not careful. So, pretty standard patent format. So I'm not going to go into like everything, what all this means, because I honestly don't know. I just know that it's a Nintendo company and Shigeru has done it. And yeah, it's just basically talking a bunch of jargon that I'm sure someone who works in that area or that field will explain far better than I ever will. But the bit we're looking for here is like the abstract, which is an example of an information processing system moves a player character on a field based on a movement operation input. The information processing system causes a sub-character on the field based on a first operation input when an enemy character is placed at a location where the sub-character is caused to appear. The information processing system controls a battle by a first mode in which the battle proceeds based on an operation input. When the enemy character is not placed at the location, the information processing system starts automatic control of automatically moving the sub-character. The information processing system moves the sub-character based on a second operation input, and when the enemy character is placed at a location or of a destination, the information processing system controls a battle by second mode in which the battle automatically proceeds. That was a very worded abstract, but basically here's the gist. If I have a creature and I am a character or a player, that I can run around and release that character in any means whatsoever when a other enemy character is nearby, and they will automatically battle or attack each other, etc., etc. That's the very basic, broad kind of scale of this. You will probably you'll probably have noticed that sounds like it comes up in a lot of games, and you would be correct. It comes up in so many games that basically this pattern could Thanos swipe half of the video game industry away. World of Warcraft, Oblivion, Pokemon, Palworld, there's a lot of them. And I'm in a few monster taming groups, and there are so many that obviously operate around this idea. So it could be very dangerous to a lot of different things. There's a few Japanese games as well that people have kind of thrown around that it also could affect. There was another one where you actually send out like a pet to do some attacking for you. So yeah, basically anything where something is summoned in, like a creature or animal or pet or monster, is summoned into the world for you to fight for you. Final Fantasy being another one. Actually, I just thought about that. Final Fantasy is another one that does similar things to that. Any situation where that happens, where there is another enemy that will battle automatically or not automatically, is essentially where things could kind of get a bit iffy. I mentioned Oblivion there. I use that as a example because obviously you think you have the mage abilities where you can summon in skeletons or scabs or whatever they're called, the little imp things, and they will attack any enemy that's nearby. And those enemies will attack them too. That's an automatic battle proceeding. So yeah, lots of different games that this could affect. So yeah, so Giovanni has also put in a lovely bunch of kind of different images. As we go further down, we'll see a lot more of them. There's some of the new Switch. I don't know why he's shoved those in there, but they're in there for some reason. As we go down, we see a lot of information about the Switch 2. And then we come to a bunch more of these little cartoon drawings. And as you can see, there is an image of them throwing something into an area where there is an enemy. Now, a lot of people have taken this that it is required to be a ball. That is not true. Nowhere in the abstract does it mention sphere or ball or round object. It just says a creature is summoned and those creatures automatically start to fight. That is the general gist of this. So you imagine Power World where you can bring your creature into the world, you can tell it to fight something, and they will fight it out. That is the general idea, right? And Pokemon have been leading into this more and more. They obviously used to be very 2D based when it was obviously on the Game Boys and then onto the DSs, and then they kind of slowly stepped into 3D, and now they are in this fully 3D realm, and they are trying to navigate this with a hell of a lot of competition. And I'm sure they are feeling the pinch of that, even though Pokemon is still a massive billion-dollar company. I'm sure they are still feeling general tugs from other areas and other revenues. So as you can see, it shows off the battling as well. And again, it's very standard Pokemon, but obviously these things do bleed into other areas. Again, I mentioned it before, Final Fantasy, that shows up in this sort of idea as well. And obviously automatic moves. Obviously enemies do automatically move in most games because obviously they have to be run by AI. There's no other player somewhere randomly else in the world making those choices in every single game. It doesn't work like that. It's all automatic. So this is, again, a very broad kind of thing to talk about in your patent, but here we are, we're here. And they're obviously, it's them telling them to go to places as well. So these are all just very basic kind of ideas that have been in so many different games. They really have, and it's really sad that these things are getting pictured up in here. I can't remember what figure 17 is. I think it's just a basic idea of data and how it kind of flows, but they have done a very in-detailed flowchart of the whole process from sort of moving around, bringing out your character, your creature, finding an enemy creature, that operation of battling, and then you've even got like throwing motion instruction. Is there a selected target? All that sort of stuff. Is the enemy character in range? Motion of throwing a ball towards, and obviously like capturing or like finishing the battle. Appearance, state, move, target movement instruction, motion of throwing ball toward target, cause sub character to appear. These are all very things, but the ball is a very loose point. This flowchart doesn't negate what's in the actual patent. The patent never mentions balls. They're just using this in their own example of talking about the mechanics that's in their game that is similar to the patent. This is not anything to do with the patent. This is purely just how Pokemon works, but the patent is a much broader subject rather than this. So if you see this flowchart, don't take this as, oh, the patent says ball, we'll be fine because we're using cubes. It doesn't work like that. They could still sue the hell out of you if you were incredibly successful in just summoning and battling creatures and capturing them. They have got a patent on spheres, but that is a different patent. That's the first patent they put in against Power World because they were using spheres. I don't know if they still are, but yeah, this patent is totally different to the actual sphere capturing patent that they also now have. So just bear that in mind. Has come close to any characters. So it's just explaining what was obviously in those little slides, those little cartoon slides, and then this is where obviously the patent basically breaks everything down and goes into a wide range of detail. I would always advise you to go and have a little read of this. It also breaks down the brief description of the drawings, which obviously explains what was going on in those, which is Fig 1 is a view showing an example where a non-limiting left controller and a non-limiting right controller attached. So that's basically saying using a controller, essentially, is a view showing an example where a non-limiting left controller and non-limiting right controller are removed from the linear. Non-limiting main body apparatus is a six-sided view showing an example of a non-limiting main body apparatus. It breaks everything down into massive detail. It even mentions the flowchart as well. Configuring a game system. So it breaks down literally everything. Honestly, if you really are interested in this, if you are a game dev, take some time to have a little read through this. It is incredibly, incredibly important. It even breaks. Oh, this is where it breaks down the slides. Diagram 8 showing an example of the in-game showing a state with a player towards an enemy character. So like figure 8, player character and an enemy character are placed on the field, and the game image showing a state where the player character 201 is throwing a ball towards the enemy character. So it's just explaining those slides again to explain what's going on. Please ignore the fact that it says ball. Again, when you come up to the very top where it gives you the breakdown of the pattern, which is on the very first page, because they have to have it on the very first page, this abstract, there's no mention of ball. So please, you take that with a pinch of salt where it says ball. I honestly think that is not in this pattern. It is not in reference to ball. Honestly, I think Nintendo are insane for doing this. I think what's even worse is that whoever read through this pattern and agreed it has never played a video game in their life. They aren't video gamers. They aren't well adversed in that area of business, and they had no right in touching this pattern outright. This is going to affect a hell of a lot of people. I, for one, am still going to push through with my game Wyrdbonds. It is a mixture of real-time and turn-based battling. I use magic, so in theory I use summons, but I'm not summoning it in any way that they are explaining, so I'm hoping I'm safe. So if you want to support me, I'll leave a link in the description, so go and wishlist my game. Let's get it up to bloody 10,000 or whatever it's going to be, and shove it in Nintendo's face. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. But yeah, forgetting that shameless plug. It's really, really bad. I think this is really, really bad for the developing community, and especially indie developers as a whole. I think a lot of people will have to rethink how they're going to work their mechanics if they have anything similar to this. And I think even AAA companies should be stepping up on this, because this does bleed into a lot of different genres. And yeah, who's to say Nintendo's not going to go after one of them? They've been known to go after literally anybody they feel they see fit, and whoever allowed this pattern in should immediately revoke it, because it's absolutely nonsense. It's such a nonsense pattern, and it makes it really hard to support Nintendo. When I do love their games, I love their games. It makes it hard to support them when they are producing patterns like this out there that will basically stop creativity. That's what it comes down to. It stops creativity. And I'm totally for creativity. I think everybody should be able to express the things that they want to express and the games that they want to make, even if it's movies, music, television series, video games, art pieces. You should have complete and utter free will to be creative as you want. And the fact that they are doing this just to stop people stepping on their toes shows how scared they are that someone else could step into that space and just completely own Pokemon. Honestly, it's crazy. Anyway, that's enough from me. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Much love. Take care. Bye.